Hello my friends and welcome to my channel. Today and tomorrow Croatia and the rest of the Europe will be closer to the sun than the rest of the world. So turn on your air conditioners and let's have some fun while editing. Big shout out to these beautiful people, my early bird supporters. Thank you very much guys, I really appreciate it. It keeps me going. Also, thank you very much for a very positive feedback on Facebook and in the comments for the first introduction video for the Lighthouse script. Really appreciate it. So let's get this party started. Today I'm gonna show you luminosity masks and how can you apply them to your imagery. So let's say you have some dark nebulae in your images and you want to enhance it a bit. We can use luminosity masks in the Lighthouse to make it better, to make a bit of contrast between the nebulae and the background. First of all, load your Lighthouse script, load your image and go to the luminosity masks and enable luminosity masks. So we want to target the darkest tones of the image. So we'll go to the target. We want to target not lights but darks, because the darker tones, and we want to have tighten the masks to 5. So let's see the masks. We can see something. It's very faint, it's very low, and that's important. So now we can lower the exposure and see what happens. So we did target the darks, and only the darks will be toned down via exposure. You can see it now show preview. It's subtle, but you get the idea. We can help ourselves with blacks a bit more. Because we targeted the very faint masks of the darks, we can go overboard. We can go to the extreme levels, because the mask is strong actually, and it will protect everything else. So that's why we can go to the extremes. Show preview. Let me zoom in, and you can see maybe the difference. I don't know how it will be seen on the video, but here is the part of the dark nebula and here's the part of the background, and you can see a slight separation of both. Okay, let me create a new image. Just click on it and apply and continue. Let's repeat the process to have some more separation. So enable luminosity masks, go to darks, go to target, go to 4 this time. Show the masks. Okay, let's go to 5 and do the same thing again. Exposure and blacks. See what it does. Again, it separates a subtle difference in the black and the nebula. Of course, the darker nebula will also be affected. Let's say here, very dark. But we want it dark, right? It's very subtle. But let's apply it and see the difference from the start image. Control, drag to synchronize. Then we can move one image on top of the other and control page down to see the difference. I hope you see it on the video, but it has some separation. This is fine-tuning. For that, I created the Lighthouse script for this fine-tuning stuff, and I do love it. You can do this in Pixinsight with range selections, but it will take some time. It's much easier this way for me. I hope it is the same for you. Let me zoom some part. Let's say over here, and control page down. You can see this part of the image is very visible. So this is a brighter part of the nebula, and this is a very dark part of the background. And you can see that this bright part is staying bright, and the darker part is darkened. So we have that contrast that we want in that particular part of the image that has dark nebulae. And the mask is seamless, so you don't have any sharp edges. Very nice. So we can do the same for the light parts of the image. So let me show you. Again, we have iris, and we want to minimize this part of the iris. So if you didn't blow out this region with a too long exposure, you have some details in the core of the iris. So let's enable luminosity mask. We are staying this time on lights because we want the bright parts. Of course, we want to target the mask. And let's say 3. Okay, let's see 2. It's a little bit wide, so let's select 3. Okay. Let's zoom in, and again we can play with exposure, and we are toning down the light part of the core, as you can see. Of course, this masks is applying on the core of the stars also, so be careful. But on this image it looks okay. We can apply contrast also. Isn't that wonderful? Let's see before after. Again, it's subtle, but it makes a ton of difference. I'll already stretch this that it isn't blown out, but many of us having problems with iris and the core, because this part of the image is very bright and you have one big star in the middle, so it's great. So apply and continue, or apply, your choice. So let's say you have some problems with the color noise in the background. We can also use luminosity masks to improve that noise or to lower that noise. Let's say you have something like this. You love the saturation on the nebula, but you don't like the background. It's mushy, it has some spots that I don't like, and I want to tone that down. Okay, we can enable luminosity masks. Again, darks. Let's go 3. Let's see the mask. I don't see the mask. Sorry. Here. Okay. This is not affected. Okay, let's try it. and we want to target. So let's lower down the vibrance. You can already see the effects. Let's lower it down. So let me zoom in, not out, in, and see the effect. This is before, after, before, after. Again, it's subtle. It does not affect the stars because they are not masked. Let me see the nebula. Okay. It lowers the saturation a bit on the edges of the nebula, but that's normal because the masks are gradiental and they don't have sharp edges, so they move in the gradient from the dark to the light side. We can always protect or target much more narrow mask, so we can see the saturation on the edges of the nebula. So the effects are now very subtle. We can even go this far to make the saturation all the way down. And when we go before, after, I can see it, but I don't know if you will see it in the video. But it has an effect. We can apply this 2 times and we'll have a clean background. You see. Okay, let's say I want 3. And I'll show before, after, before, after. It's a little bit cleaner. It's subtle. So now let's have some fun with M35. Let's say you took this image of M35 and NGC 2158 and you want to bring out some colors in stars, but you don't want to affect the background. If you have some saturation on the whole image, the background will also have a nice look of color noising. So we don't want to do that. So again, luminosity masks enable lights. Now we can show the mask so we can see how much it affects the stars. Let's say 2. Okay, let's say 3. So 3 is too narrow. You see, it only masks the core of the stars. So I want to go with 2. It has some residual in the background, but it's okay. It will not affect the background as much. So let's remove the show masks and boost the vibrance to the highest point. We already have some coloring before, after. Okay, let's boost saturation also. Let me zoom out and now you can see the difference. Okay, let me zoom a bit. You see the stars are now having color, but the background is not affected. You don't see any color noising in there. Great, so let's apply. I saw some greenery in the stars. By greenery I mean green tones that I do not like, and we can also use masks to remove that. Okay, let's enable the masks, set it to 2 as before. Also target, and now go to additional tools. We have SCNR and we can boost that a bit to remove those green residuals. Maybe a bit more. Let me see the before after. Okay, you see the effect. Can be seen in this cluster. And now we have much better colors. Let's apply it. And let's see the image. Before, after. Before, after. So we remove the greens from the stars. You can see those greens here. Oops. And now they are removed. We only targeted the stars itself. So we didn't touch the background at all. Just a tiny bit. Let's see here. Yeah, you can see the greens and these yellows. In these yellow diffraction spikes. Great. And it's much better. We have stars in colors. Yeah, we have colors in stars, and we avoided the background, and we removed the greens from the stars, also avoiding the background. So you can see now the power of luminosity masks and how easy is it to apply them via Lighthouse script. And for the final trick, we have some flat Pac-Man here. He's a little bit flatio, and we want to enhance the contrast. So we can use, of course, luminosity masks. First of all, let's see how the contrast works without the masks. It's okay. It's okay. But I don't want that aggressive contrast. So let me create a luminosity mask. Lights 1, and I want to target it. And now I'll bring up the contrast. It's a very subtle thing now. So you can see the before after. It targets more lights and less darks. And it has this effect. Now let me show you how would contrast work without the masks, the first light mask on the target. Somebody will love this contrast also, that's fine. But if you want to fine-tune it and protect the black tones or dark tones and affect just the lights with the contrast, you can do that with luminosity mask 1 or 2. It depends on the object. Nice. So now you can see the power of the luminosity masks and what they bring to the table. Of course, they are not included in the Lightroom itself, but I wanted to include them because I use them all the time. All this can be done, of course, in Pixinsight tools, but I think it's easier via Lighthouse script because you can see it. It's just a click and you move the drop down menu and you move the sliders and you have those perfect subtle effects on your image. Thank you for watching. Share, comment, like, subscribe so I can make more of these videos. Now I'm going to my freezer because it's 1000 degrees Celsius in my room and I cannot breathe anymore. Peace out.